comprehensive plan, man.
Quiet on the studio.
Okay. Start all over again. Oh, go ahead. Oh, start over. Oh. Oh, well, you know what? Assalamu alaikum to everybody. They're looking at the Underground Railroad television show. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30, and I have two phenomenal guests. And one is Brother Will, who, like any father, whose son or daughter is missing, he's trying to find them, and he needs help. He needs assistance. Okay, so we waving a flag, like they did in Africa to disseminate information. We beating the drums to try to help him, and we're gonna let him tell his story, and we're going to ask questions in between. And we have Brother Mark Clemens, who is working on the behalf of inmates in Statesville Prison, Dixon, Cook County, Dwight. I can't name all the prisons. And the women, he has not forgot about you in the women's prison. And I'm gonna have them introduce themselves. And you're looking at the Underground Railroad. Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam.
All right.
Again, I'm Joshua Williams, and I'm here today because my son was taken 5 years ago in the city of Gary, Indiana, and my intention is to just getting the word out there and, getting a lot of help.
Yes. And the Islamic brother put me in contact.
Brother Khalil.
Brother Khalil, hey, brother. And thank you, Brother Khalil and Imasi, for putting me in contact with the brother. May we do something to that, Allah, he's praying about it. May we be instrumental in doing something to aid and assist him. Just as we want to do something to aid and assist people that are incarcerated in all these prisons in Illinois. But go ahead, brother. He's a giant right here. I better step back and step out the way.
My name is Mark Clements, and I work for the Chicago Torture Justice Center in Chicago, and we bring treatment to individuals that have been wounded as the result of impact of police violence, as well as we speak about Chicago police torture, wrongful convictions inside of Chicago public schools, as well as having a survivor family advisory council that allows the community to get involved with some of the services that we provide, as well as freeing men and women out of the prison systems once they have been wrongfully convicted and they have sat there for decades and decades of their lives.
Okay. And you know what, Brother Will, again, thank you for accepting the invitation. Let me ask you something, brother. Can you tell the people who you are and why they should help you and what happened? What happened, man? Who are you?
Well, I'm going to say that I want to address all the parents out there.
Okay.
Because from one parent to the next, man, I would really be out there helping and, do whatever it takes to, quiet your pain that's in your heart, you know what I'm saying? My son, King, he did not deserve what happened to him. And my family, his mother's family, we haven't been able to get the help that we need. And we've been on many, in front of many news cameras and talked to many reporters, and it's like we haven't been able to speak to the right person, because all it takes is the right person to do something about it, and it can change the whole process. As far as, my son being taken and taken without any answers or any leads. Like, nobody just disappears without a trace, especially his auntie who has special needs, and she has, body deformities, to where if you see her with the child, you would really, that doesn't add up, so it left a loophole in the case, plus the detectives in Gary, Indiana really didn't pursue it because we are a black family. I felt that if we were not a black family, that we probably would have been gotten help, or even the Amber Alert, you know what I mean?
My co-host, Brother Mark, you got a question?
Well, you know, this is a tragedy. This is something that we as a people, we must get involved with. You know, how old was your son once he was removed illegally by someone?
My son was 2.
2 years of age.
2 years of age. His auntie was 21 at the time. And you can't leave her alone. She's that kind of like mentally disabled. I don't want to point the blame, but I can't help it. You know, the pain in me is like, it's the woman who was babysitting both of them by her
You want to call their names or not really?
I'm gonna say Miss Bynum.
Okay.
And I really believe that she should have been investigated as far as like what they, as a criminal, as a suspect, because the stories didn't add up. When you have children in your home, as a parent, when you sleep, you still have that that parental ear, if that's what I'm looking for. You still hear what your kids are doing even in your sleep, and I know from experience. So them getting up and you not hearing them, it doesn't really make sense, because she's Diamond Bynum. She's what, 4'11", 265 pounds. So she's a big girl, and the way she gets up, she like thrusts herself up. So one, how did you not hear them? And two, how did you not feel the bed move? You know.
You know what's something that I'm interested to know that the child was under care of someone else. You didn't have the child.
Yes.
And what I'm interested in knowing is why wasn't there some type of charges pressed against the individuals that had care of the child? That's kind of mind-boggling to me, because I can't rationalize it. Because the thing is, if I'm in charge and I'm watching a child, it's my responsibility. There should be repercussions for that. Why? Can you explain that? Because I don't get it.
I've asked that question for many years, and it still has been left unanswered. Because I know that had I had my son and he got hurt in my care, I would have been incarcerated without second guess. They would have held me accountable. They would have even taken my rights away because he got hurt in my care. So for the charges not being pressed or anything like that against her, is it a racial thing because she's a Caucasian woman?
Wow. Go ahead, brother.
You know, one thing that I want to ask is, what is the police take of all of this, that they would not file charges against, or at least consider the aunt as a suspect?
Well, the detective that was in charge, Detective Wolf and Detective Otano, I wouldn't hold them next to a grain of salt. They were so focused on keeping me out of the investigation that they didn't have time to even do their jobs. And this is why this woman is still able to walk around here as if she's a goddess or something. Like she didn't do anything wrong. Somebody did something wrong, and somebody may know something and they're sweeping it underneath the rug. That's.
Well, you know what? When you say this, the individual that was taking care of the child comes up missing. It assumed that it was an investigation, and of course she was not satisfied with the outcome and no repercussions. Did you, as a father, try to push it further up the chain of command, or maybe even to the federal government, because this is a child? I'm asking, how far did you push it up the chain of command to demand that, I'm not going to say retribution, but I mean demand that things be put in a proper perspective? And And if you don't want to answer that, that's okay too.
No, I mean, I have to answer.
Okay.
I went as far as trying to make my own police report. I've contacted the National Mission and Exploited Children Agency in Virginia. I've contacted the Chicago Tribune, the Sun-Time. I contacted People Magazine. I contacted U.S. Weekly, Us Magazine. But then there was a hope because I ended up being incarcerated for 5 years. So that put a huge wrench in what I really was trying to do. Had I gotten that help and support in the beginning, I strongly believe that there would have been a different outcome. Whether, good or bad, just knowing what happened.
Let me say this: people that are saying that I'm not asking him that to be critical or to be harsh. I just want the listening audience to understand. But go ahead, brother.
So, that was a real setback for me. And that's when I mentioned to you earlier about, the programs and some certain stuff like that. Because while I was incarcerated, man, going through that is the wrong place to be. They have no programs or no patience for somebody who's going through something mentally.
You don't mind saying where you was incarcerated, do you?
I was incarcerated in Shawnee Correctional Center at the bottom of the map.
Okay.
So their way of dealing with it is I was sprayed with mace, handcuffed, threw in the cell, left handcuffed for hours. I didn't get any food for 12 hours or longer. And I was having a moment, I guess, because during that whole time, not being able to reach out to brothers like you and Mr. Clemens here for any help, it was bothering me, you know what I'm saying? Because as a father, I'm like, I got to do something.
So basically the same thing that Brother Mark Clemens is fighting for them. You got treated that way, and go ahead, brother.
Well, this is not uncommon when it comes to African American people in general. I look at what took place in the town of Joliet, where a young child was found up under a couch. And still this day, there have not been any charges brought against the family, when in reality, the only people who were around this child was the family. The thing about it is, when you going through your grief, who do you reach out to? Who's going to help you? And that's the problem with us as a people. There is very lack of organizations and groups that are willing to say, man, we're going to help out Brother Will. We getting ready to sit Brother Will down and pick his brains, and then we getting ready to reenact this and see where that leads us. Out here, man, people don't care about other people's misery until you already know, until it affects them.
Absolutely.
And when it affects them, now they coming to you saying, come on, Brother Will, come on. And you say, well, that's what I've been trying to do, man, is to get the people and sound the alarm so that we can start our own little group. And people out here, man, don't catch on, or else they'll see where that through your labor, there either is through some independent source, or else maybe the city of Gary, and they just come out the sky blue and say, man, listen here, we're going to give you $1 million. It's really hush money to go away. Right. And then you say, yeah, I'll take that $1 million. Now everybody who's calling you and saying that you the one who has the problem, now they're going to, oh, he's my favorite nephew. He's my favorite cousin. He's my favorite brother. And phonyism is something that we see each and every day. We see these young kids out here in the community, and they're committing phonyism because they're trying to follow up behind some entertainer, and they fail to realize what that entertainer is doing ain't nothing but art.
Comment on that, though.
I think he commented for everybody,
My question to you, when you did confront the individuals that was watching your child, what did you say to them? What did you? Because I can't even imagine how I would have reacted. And it's good you didn't take no physical action against him. Uh-huh.
I haven't been able to confront them because I don't know how I would respond. It's kind of hard going to a person whom you believe hurted your child with a simple conversation. Hey, what happened? You know, you took something from me that's valuable here, you know what I'm saying? And for me to just, I don't know, I don't think I've matured, but I don't think I'm ready yet for that. If I do that, I would have to have the brothers to come with me because that's my son and I want to do anything for him.
I just can't, you know, to feel the pain of a child missing, you know, like they say it's an experience when your child goes before you. I'm not saying it happened to you because we expect our children to bury us, you know, but that's not your situation,
Inshallah.
you know, but so the people that are in Gary, Indiana, you have any like message? Do you have intentions on carrying on this fight to right this wrong, don't you?
I absolutely do.
So what are you gonna do? What's gonna be your course of action to keep on fighting, and for the individuals that did? You know, the child was in somebody else's custody. Are your intentions for them to pay for that?
Absolutely.
Come on, talk to us.
You have to be held accountable for your wrong actions, man. No matter how much it hurts or how much you're in denial, you have to be held accountable. You know, once you're held accountable, you know, only a few things can happen. Either you'll stay in denial or you'll grow from it. Secondly, my thing of what I'm trying to do is to keep it in the media, keep networking with people and, you know, just, I don't say it in a bad way, but pulling their heartstrings, you know what I'm saying? To, you know, help out because this, unfortunately, man, is a huge business. Child trafficking, human trafficking, abductions, they get paid off for all this stuff. So we have to do something to save our future, man.
You know, I say like a tragedy that happened, other tragedy that happened that was in the news, the Bradley sisters, which they're
Yes.
not related to me because my last name is Bradley. Gator Bradley is not related to me, but who knows? But the thing is, the Bradley twins, they've been missing like, I think, over 20 or 25 years. But the question I have for you, hi Gator. But anyway, the question I have for you is, if you think that child, your child, that is missing was another ethnic background, would they have put out an Amber Alert? Would there have been an investigation? Would there have been?
I believe so.
Why you say that?
I mean, history. You look at things that are going right now. Shortly after that, a Caucasian family in Lansing or Indianapolis, Indiana, it was the mom and her two daughters. They were at a grocery store. And I saw this on the news while I was in Cook County. They ran off and hid from her in the grocery store. And within an hour of her making the police report on the phone, it was all over the TV. Amber, it came out. I'm like, what can we do? I also believe that if the families, when I say families, my families and my son's mother's family and everything like that, if at that moment when it happened, if we could have really set aside all family drama and been a unified whole, I think we could have did a lot better on our own.
Okay.
But because of that, that's why we're going on almost 6 years.
Okay, you gotta quit. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you know, that is very true when it deals with black and brown communities. It's the turmoil. And about time the turmoil is solved or at least manageable, shoot, you find out it's been weeks or months. And then you go through despair. But no, I've ran across many people, man, who have lost their children, man, and they're fighting for trying to figure out where their children is. It's just hard, man, and trying to deal with trying to locate your child and you looking at it that, well, a family member had my child. Don't this person know? and then come to find out they don't know, you know, I think in this case, as well as the case of the young Crosby girl out of Joliet, is slam dunks. Some went wrong, most likely. And most likely this woman, most likely, and I'm not saying any of this is facts, but most likely the family member took that child and put that child somewhere after something went wrong. It could turn out to, like in some instances, the child end up surfacing like 10 years later, and come to find out the child was in like Philadelphia or Denver or Utah. But, you know, it's sad. And then that's trauma. You know, that's trauma that you have to carry around forever, and people are not going to understand your trauma that you're experiencing, and you just got to keep on keeping on. But, you know, I just wish that when that happened in your situation that people could have reached out to us, because, man, we go to Indiana all the time, and we would have at least told the streets up looking for your child. The bottom line of it is it sounds like something real drastic that we would have stumbled upon.
Yeah. Seemed like you made a contact, because this brother, you know, and again, for those that are just tuning in, okay, some people are just tuning in. Tell us again, you know, what happened to your child, the name, where he located, what do you want done, so we can help and we can assist you in disseminating the information that you want to get to the people by using mass media, because this will be posted on YouTube.
Again, I'm Joshua Williams. My son is King Walker. My son was abducted in July of 2015 in Gary, Indiana, along with his auntie who has special needs, Diamond Bynum. And
go ahead, brother.
You know, my intentions of keeping this going is because there's no limits to what I would do for my son as a father or as a man, period. It is my duty to protect him. I'm not perfect. I made some mistakes, but at the end of the day, he is still my son. And I can't do it by myself.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam. Like I said, I'm Joshua Williams, but everybody calls me Brother Will. And I'm actually here today to talk about some of the things that happens to my son. And hopefully I'll get some positive feedback, man.
Okay. We're doing this, let me say this real quick. We are in need of help, assistance. If we had a flag, we'd be waving it right now, but
Absolutely.
we're waving it on television, and we have.
Well, from...
You want to say hi to your masjid? No? Okay. But go ahead, brother.
From the very beginning, this incident occurred July the 25th, 2015 in Gary, Indiana. My son was staying with his grandfather and his wife for the weekend or whatever. And his grandfather, Eugene, had went to work that morning and left my son along with his auntie who has special needs. Her name is Diamond Bynum.
Things are planned, brother. Things are planned.
So I remember I came down here with Gator Wallace, and shoot, I think we had to end up scrapping this show.
Things are planned, man.
Quiet on the studio.
Okay. Start all over again. Oh, go ahead. Oh, start over. Oh. Well, you know what? Assalamu alaikum to everybody. They're looking at the Underground Railroad television show. We come on every Saturday night at 10:30, and I have two phenomenal guests, and one is Brother Will, who, like any father, whose son or daughter is missing, he's trying to find them, and he needs help, he needs assistance, okay? So we waving a flag, like they did in Africa to disseminate information. We beating the drums to try to help him. And we're gonna let him tell his story, and we're going to ask questions in between. And we have Brother Mark Clemens, who is working on the behalf of inmates in Statesville Prison, Dixon, Cook County, Dwight. I can't name all the prisons. And the women, he has not forgot about you in the women's prison. And I'm gonna have them introduce themselves. And you're looking at the Underground Railroad. Go ahead, Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam.
All right.
Again, I'm Joshua Williams, and I'm here today because my son was taken 5 years ago in the city of Gary, Indiana, and my intention is to just getting the word out there and, getting a lot of help.
Yes. And the Islamic brother put me in contact.
Brother Khalil.
Brother Khalil, hey, brother. And thank you, Brother Khalil and
Alhamdulillah.
for putting me.
And I would really be out there helping and, do whatever it takes to, quiet your pain that's in your heart, you know what I'm saying? My son King, he did not deserve what happened to him. And my family, his mother's family, we haven't been able to get the help that we need. And we've been on many, in front of many news cameras and talked to many reporters, and it's like we haven't been able to speak to the right person, because all it takes is the right person to do something about it, and it can change the whole process. As far as, my son being taken and taken without any answers or any leads. Like, nobody just disappears without a trace, especially his auntie who has special needs, and she has, body deformities, to where if you see her with the child, you would really, that doesn't add up, so it left a loophole in the case. Plus, the detectives in Gary, Indiana really didn't pursue it because we are a black family. I felt though if we were not a black family that we probably would have been gotten help, or even the Amber Alert, you know what I mean?